So it was only about 3 weeks ago when I featured a Casio here on my channel that I actually fell in love with. This is an integrated bracelet Casio with a silver dial. Now I was browsing on Amazon and I actually found the exact same watch with a beautiful black brushed dial, and of course I could not resist. So today we're going to be taking a look at this watch. So in that original video I said that I thought this watch was a PRX killer. There are a number of reasons why I said that, but the number one reason is the bracelet. I think the bracelet on this watch is phenomenal. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the black dial version of the Casio PRX killer. So it was just a few weeks ago when I featured the silver version of this watch here on my channel. This is the black dial Casio Edifice integrated bracelet watch. I bought this off of Amazon as well, and again on Amazon it says that this is a 48mm watch. In that video that I did for the silver version, I sort of did the measurements and we determined that it was basically a 42mm watch. I'll do measurements again so you guys could see what I'm talking about. But for some reason, even the Casio website says that this is a 48mm watch. It is not. And when I saw this out in the wild, someone had the silver version on. I was at a meet where, looking at watches, talking about watches. Someone had the silver version of this watch on, and I'll show you that silver version in just a few seconds. I realized that it wasn't 48mm. I had looked at it in the past and I was really impressed with the watch overall, and here we are. So this is the second one that I've purchased. I've purchased the silver dial version. That has a blue accent for the second hand. This gets a red accent for the second hand. This also gets a brushed dial, just like the silver variant. However, it's a little bit harder to see in this lighting. I will do close-ups so you could see what I'm talking about. But very quickly, let me show you the measurements because I think that's really important about this watch. It's just about 40mm at the bezel. It doesn't wear like a 40mm watch, that's for sure. It wears more like a 42 or a 43mm watch. So it's like 42mm if you're not including the crown guards on this side, and then you have a little jut out on the other side of the watch. If you measure all of that, you're still not at 48mm, you're just at 46mm. So that is including the crown. Without the crown, technically this is, I would say, a 43mm watch or 42.5mm watch, and that's kind of what it wears like. Also, it's very thin. So the fact that it is thin and it has a very thin bezel does make it wear a little bit larger. So that's why I would say 43mm. 8.6mm thick. You have a pretty sizable crown for the size of this watch, in the thickness, 5.4mm, and then you do have male end links, so it will wear a little bit bigger. I don't know if they make straps for this watch, so it's 47mm at the actual case, and then it's about 52.1 at the bracelet, and that's because you have male end links, so that's the effective lug to lug. But if they do make a strap, I'm not sure I would actually use it. And the reason why is because the bracelet on here I find to be very, very impressive. Actually, when I did the video on the silver dial variant of this watch, I was super impressed with the bracelet. And I have to say, it is a very impressive bracelet. The links themselves are finished very nicely. You have polishing, brushing, and then polishing in between each one of the links. It is friction fitted. However, they feel very, very nice, and I compared it directly to a PRX. I think that the bracelet on here is as good as a PRX's bracelet, and then the case is very nicely finished as well. It's very angular and polished on both sides of the watch, but you also have brushing, and there's actual crisp transitions between the polishing and brushing. And then of course the bezel is also polished and brushed. There's sort of a vertical brushing on the bezel, and then a polishing that goes around the side of the bezel. Again, the transitions between the polishing and brushing on the bezel, very, very crisp. You have applied indices. There's just a little bit of lume on those, and then you have lume on the hands, and then you have a chapter ring that sort of lines up with the indices, and there is a minute track on that chapter ring. The color of this dial I would call a matte or satin finish black dial. It is a deep black dial, and then you have, I guess, sword hands on here, and then you have a second hand here that is red, and then the sort of counterbalance is in stainless steel. It just says Edifice. This is 100 meters of water resistance. It says Sapphire because this gets a sapphire crystal. It also gets a screwed-in case back. So just for reference, the PRX also gets 100 meters of water resistance. That's the PRX version and the quartz version. Now the quartz version is around 300 and change. This comes in at $89. So, you know, a lot to say. I have a lot to say about that. I think this is actually a very, very good deal considering. The buckle here is sort of a, you know, typical buckle that you see on a lot of watches, but it's really not that bad. You get 4 positions of micro adjust, which by the way, you don't get with the PRX, and something that I didn't mention in my review of this watch, because you have a buckle here and it is deployant, you are able to get a better fit on this watch than you would with the PRX. The PRX does not have half links, and it is a butterfly clasp. I believe it doesn't have half links. If I am wrong, please correct me down in the comments below, or I'll put a correction down in the comments below. You don't get half links here, but the links aren't very big, and you do get 4 positions of micro adjust, as I mentioned. So, you know, you're going to get a very good fit with this watch as well. I really have to say I like the black dial. I'll do close-ups of the black dial so you can see what I'm talking about. $89 currently on Amazon, and obviously Amazon very quick shipping, so I got this within 1 or 2 days after I decided to buy the black dial variant. I got it just, you know, in 2 days. Really great. Anyway, very quickly. Oh, you also have a date here. Everything works very smoothly with, you know, quality-wise. You can see there's no jump of the second hand, which is great when you're changing the time. Crown is very smooth, and you have a date there that takes up a portion of the index at 3 o'clock, and you have a little surround around it. I could do without the date, but obviously this is an everyday watch. That's what they're going for. Date has to be really included here. I would prefer it at 6 o'clock, but that's just me. That's, you know, what I like. My preference, not really what needs to be done here. Anyway, very quickly, let me show you what I have on my wrist, then I'll throw this on my wrist so you can see what it looks like, and then we'll do a quick loom shot. Today I have on my Mad 1 from MB&F, or Mad 1 Galleries. One of my favorite watches of the year. Has to be top 10 watches, definitely, probably top 5 watches. I love that watch, and I've been wearing it over the past few days because I haven't had it on my wrist for a while. But there you go. You can see I have a 7.5 inch wrist. This does not wear like a 48 millimeter watch. It does not wear like a 46 millimeter watch. It wears like a 43 millimeter integrated bracelet watch, 100%. And I think it looks fantastic, especially the bracelet, the case, the design of this watch. It looks a lot more expensive than it actually is, and you can get these for $89. It is not a Japanese domestic model, which I originally thought it was. It is not. Anyway, very quickly, a loom shot, and then we'll wrap up the video. So I think I accidentally said that this gets loom on the indices. It does not. It just gets loom on the hands. However, like I said, it's pretty decently applied to the hour and minute hand. You don't have loom on the second hand. You don't have loom on the indices. Not a lot of loom here. I would have liked to see more loom on this watch. That is probably my only complaint at this price of $89. You're getting a watch from a major brand with a really beautiful bracelet and a really nice case, sapphire crystal that's thin, under 9 millimeters thick. You know, it's going to be reliable. You'll have this watch for the rest of your life. And if it breaks, you probably can even get this serviced through Casio. So it's a lot to say about a watch that costs well under $100, while the PRX costs well over $300 if you want to buy it brand new. And this is brand new at $89. You know, if you're okay with the size, the PRX is 40 millimeters, while this is a 42.5 millimeter watch. That is obviously the give and take there. So if you have a smaller wrist, this will look bigger. That's just unfortunate. I don't know if they'll ever come out with a smaller version of this, but it's definitely not 48 millimeters like they have it listed. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the silver variant? I have the silver variant here as well. That one has the exact same loom, just on the hands. Actually, is it a little bit? Yeah, it's exactly the same. So you can see. That's it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Like I mentioned before, I have a link down below to this watch, to the black dial variant this time. I'll also put a link to the silver variant down below as well. Those are affiliate links. If you click those links and buy anything, if you buy one of the watches or you buy anything, it helps support my channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It doesn't interrupt your Prime benefits. It has no effect on the consumer. However, it helps support my channel and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you in the next video.